Why are there not more people talking about the deep wealth gap in our society? I bet you didn't know how deep the wealth gap really is. Are you shocked to see the rich getting richer, while the poor get poorer? This is the problem Karl Marx sought to solve. Marx saw a world divided into two main classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. His solution was radical, a classless society, a world where the means of production were owned by everyone. This was the essence of communism. Marx was born in 1818 in Trier, Germany. He was a philosopher, economist, and journalist. His ideas would go on to change the world, but he didn't work alone. His most important collaborator was Friedrich Engels. Engels was born in 1820 in Barmen, Prussia. He came from a wealthy family of industrialists, but he became critical of the conditions faced by workers. He met Marx in 1844. The two quickly became friends and intellectual partners. Together, Marx and Engels developed the theory of communism. Their most famous work was the Communist Manifesto. Published in 1848, it laid out their vision for a classless society. They argued that all of history was driven by class struggle. Marx and Engels spent years refining their ideas. Marx's magnum opus, Das Kapital, was published in 1867. It provided a detailed critique of capitalist economics. Engels continued to promote and develop Marx's ideas after his death in 1883. Marx and Engels saw class struggle as the driving force of history. Society has always been divided into opposing groups, defined by their relationship to the means of production. In their time, it was the bourgeoisie against the proletariat. The Industrial Revolution highlighted this conflict. Marx observed harsh conditions faced by factory workers. Factory owners grew wealthy while workers remained poor. If you're finding this insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Marx's ideas spread far beyond his native Germany. They inspired revolutionary movements around the world. In Russia, they led to the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917. This established the world's first communist state. The Soviet Union became a superpower. It stood as an alternative to Western capitalism. Many countries in Eastern Europe adopted communist systems after World War II. China became communist in 1949 under Mao Zedong. Communist ideas also influenced non-communist countries. Many adopted socialist policies. These included welfare states and nationalized industries. Even in capitalist countries, Marx's analysis of class influenced political discourse. The Cold War was largely a conflict between communist and capitalist ideologies. It shaped global politics for decades. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of communism as a major global force. But Marx's ideas continued to influence political and economic thought. The Soviet Union was the first and most influential communist state. Under Lenin and Stalin, it industrialized rapidly. It provided universal education and healthcare, but it also became a brutal dictatorship. Millions died in purges and famines. China's Communist Revolution in 1949 transformed the country. Mao's Great Leap Forward aimed to rapidly industrialize China, but it led to a devastating famine. The later Cultural Revolution caused widespread social upheaval. Cuba became communist in 1959 under Fidel Castro. It achieved high levels of literacy and healthcare, but it also suppressed political dissent. Its economy struggled under US sanctions. Other notable communist states included North Korea, Vietnam, and several African countries. Each adapted Marxist ideas to their local conditions. The results were mixed, with both achievements and failures. Critics argue that communism leads to economic inefficiency. Without market forces, they say, there's no way to allocate resources effectively. This can lead to shortages and poor quality goods. Human rights abuses have been a major criticism of communist regimes. Many became one-party states with limited freedoms. Dissent was often brutally suppressed. Millions died in purges and labor camps. The promised classless society often didn't materialize. Instead, a new elite of party officials emerged. They enjoyed privileges denied to ordinary citizens. This led to the criticism that communism simply replaced one ruling class with another. Environmental damage has also been a concern. Many communist states prioritized rapid industrialization over environmental protection. This led to severe pollution in countries like the Soviet Union and China. Despite the fall of communist states, Marxist analysis remains influential. Many scholars use Marx's ideas to understand modern capitalism. They argue that class conflict is still a key feature of our society. The concept of the 1% versus the 99% echoes Marx's class analysis. It highlights the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. This has become a major political issue in many countries. Marxist ideas also inform critiques of globalization. Some argue that multinational corporations exploit workers in developing countries. This is seen as a modern form of the class struggle Marx described. The gig economy and precarious work are analyzed through a Marxist lens. Some see these as new forms of worker exploitation. The debate over automation and its impact on jobs also draws on Marx. Karl Marx's vision of a classless society has not been realized. Income inequality is a major issue in many countries. The concentration of wealth in the hands of a few echoes Marx's critiques. Marx's ideas continue to influence political and economic thought. His concept of class struggle provides a framework for understanding social conflicts. His critique of capitalism still resonates with many people. As we face growing inequality, perhaps Marx's vision of a more equitable society offers a path forward. Marx proposed the abolition of private property and the establishment of a communal ownership system as a solution to inequality. By redistributing resources and ensuring equal access to wealth, his vision aimed to create a fairer and more just society.